Well, hello, everybody. I haven't posted anything in quite a while. I've had this plan for about a year to do another major project mixed with two smaller projects. And this studio, if you don't know, it's filled with cameras. And I'm going to turn on the cameras and invite you to watch me produce the next sculpture. This next sculpture is a man, and I do sculptures of women with the idea that it's really easy to dehumanize them because of the stories that happen around their bodies between men and women. And this is about a black man. And they have the same problem. A lot of people cannot see them as people. And when I was a kid, my mom told me how black people are treated in this country. And I was like, wow, how do they do it? Like, I don't get it. How can you even function here? And that never really changed. To this day, I still go, wow, how can you do this? How can you have a regular life here in America where all the signs are, you're not wanted? Now, people who know me, I have some intensity in my personality, and I think if I was black, I would have been in jail as a young teenager, and then probably many times after. I would have to be a different person to be able to live that life. And I felt safer around police, and I knew it was because I was white my whole life. And I was talking to friends, and they're saying, well, it seems like you're kind of in awe of these people. And it's like, yeah, I am and I always have been. And I want to celebrate my friends and brothers and all of them and all of you by doing a sculpture 50 feet tall. There's a video I made about a year ago, and it'll tell you about me and how I plan to do this. And I invite you all to watch it. I'll have cameras on in the studio every day as I work. There'll be two other smaller projects that I'll be doing at the same time. And I'll be communicating a lot. And there'll be ways to give your opinion. I'd love to talk to you and explain why I feel like it's okay for me to do this. I've spent a year asking for permission from my black friends and people I didn't know and just checking in. And basically everybody said, you can't get permission from anybody. You're just going to have to do it. So I'm just going to do it. And I hope you come with me and watch. Thank you.
I want to tell you a story about a project intended to make the world a better place. I am Marco Cochrane, son of hippie artist parents who told me to save the world. That is a heavy lift, but I'm trying. Here's my father in his studio, and here's my mother in her studio. We lived in Berkeley, California. I played in People's Park, and I experienced the anti-war riots raging outside my house. So my work focused on war and the human condition. My first sculpture was Death of the Enemy. A warrior has just killed his enemy and is realizing it is himself. As I did this piece, I understood that men would never stop war by themselves. They needed balance from women. My mother was a feminist, and she told me that women's voices were not being heard. I thought one of the reasons for this was their bodies and the stories around their bodies got in the way of men and women seeing them as people and hearing them. So I did sculptures of women being themselves. Later, I made them huge. And at this scale, it did help women feel heard and celebrated. All three of these sculptures were of Deja Solis. They are her energy. She chose all three poses. The sculpture I'm working on now is about mother energy. My wife Julia is the model, and she chose the pose and the meaning. Last year, while I was staying with Deja and her husband Norm on their farm, George Floyd was murdered, and the nation reacted with the largest demonstrations in the country's history. I thought, finally, white people, all people, are standing up against this system of abuse that has been going on for hundreds of years. I also thought, we are going to forget that this moment happened. Time to do a sculpture of a black man for the same reason I did the sculptures of women. Can you see him as a person? Pass the story in your head about his body. I asked Norm to help me get a group together to see if it was a good idea. At the same time, I began a sculpture to show people what I meant. And here it is, finished. I wanted to give you guys a sense of how big this sculpture is, how big the sculpture that we're talking about making will be. Here we go. I want to make it with the same structure as the previous ones, but out of carbon fiber instead of steel. It is black and strong and light and absolutely cutting edge. So unlike the metal ones that need a crane for installation, the community can put this together by hand and lift it up together as a group. The idea is to tour this sculpture across the country and end up at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. The community effort and the scale will be very powerful and intense for many people and many reasons. So we need to do this the right way, and we're looking for your help. I hope this piques your interest.